Hello, fourth grade friends and family members. I'm going to talk about the area strategy for a 2 by 2 multiplication equation. Last time we talked about this, it was for a 2 by 1 for problems such as 53 times 4, which would be a 2-digit by 1 digit. These are 2 by 2 digits, so it'd be more like 53 times 44, a 2-digit by 2 digit. So let's work with the first problem. The first problem is right here, 53 times 42. This is a 2-digit by 2-digit, which means if you were to draw a house, it would be a 4-bedroom house because it would be a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. 2 times 2 is 4. First, you have to think about what the expanded form of this number is. 53 is the same as 50 plus 3, and 42 is the same as 40 plus 2. Most of us know that in our heads, but I went ahead and drew it out just to illustrate. So now, draw a rectangle. Pretend the rectangle is a house. And in your house, you're going to make a set of rooms. Going from this way, this wall is 53 feet long. So let's divide it into 50 and 3. Because 50 plus 3 makes 53. This length is 42, so we're going to divide it into 40 and 2, because 40 plus 2 makes 42. Start with the first room. We call this the living room, the biggest one, or whatever you want to call it. 5 times 4 is 20, so 50 times 40 is 20 with 2 zeros on the end. I'll go down to this room now. I know this length isn't labeled for me exactly, but I know that opposite lengths are the same. So this side is 50, therefore this side must be 50. 50 times 2 is 100. That's 100 feet squared inside of that little room. This is 2,000 feet squared in this little room. Now this one is a 40 by 3 because this length is 40. So 40 times 3 is the same as 12 times 3 with a 0 at the end, because 3 times 4 is 12. And 2 times 3 is 6. To find the area of the entire house, now you just have to add all the 4 rooms together. So 2,000 plus 100, being careful to line up the ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. 120 and 6. Add those up. Put in your comma. So this is the entire house, a 53 by 42, is 2,226 feet squared. That little 2 means the same as squared. Okay, let's do one more for an example. So remember, it's a 68 by 25. That means it's going to have 2 digits by 2 digits, which means I will break it up into a 4-room house like this one. So I'll go ahead and draw my house. And 68 is my first number, so I'm going to split that into 60 and 8. 25 is my second number, so this whole length is 25. I'm going to split it into that part's 20 and that part's 5. 60 times 20 is the same as 6 times 2 with 2 zeros at the end. 6 times 2 is 12, 0, 0. This is an 8 by 20 because this length and this length are the same. 8 times 20 is the same as 8 times 2 with that 0 on the end. 8 times 2 is 16, 0 at the end. This one is a 5 by 60 because this length is the same as this length. 5 times 60 is the same as 5 times 6 with that 0 at the end. 5 times 6 is 30, with the 0 at the end is 300. This last room is an 8 by 5. 8 times 5 is 40. Use my vertical addition to add up the areas of each room, carefully lining up the place values to make sure that I'm adding the ones with the ones, the tens with the tens, the hundreds with the hundreds, etc. I'm adding up all the square feet of all these 4 rooms, so therefore I'll know the square footage of the entire house. Vertical addition, 0 in the ones place, 10 in the tens place, which means I need to trade it in for 100. It's now 10 tens are 100. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1,000, comma after the third. And the answer is 1,700 feet squared, or square feet. 1,700 feet squared. We were talking in class today about how if you went into this room and you tried to fill it with 1 foot by 1 foot tiles, you would need 1,700 of them to fill this room. This room would need 2,226 1 by 1 foot tiles to fill the entire house, whereas this room would only need 2,000. That was the area strategy for 2 by 2 digit multiplication. Stay tuned for more.